to the Towson Circulator through November 25th. Next. Now, a little bit about the goals of the Circulator. We believe it will create easy and convenient transit options to better connect people with where they live, where they work, study, and play. One of its goals is to also strengthen transit connections between popular destinations, as mentioned earlier, and make those trips to those destinations more frequently. In addition, a goal is to also have the bus arrive every 15 to 20 minutes. Next. The Towson Circulator will also support our existing large institutions. We hope to get feedback on suggested hours of service that will provide ease of access for employees, clients, and visitors. As a matter of fact, we've had some very specific outreach with some of the anchor institutions that we have in the area. And as it relates to the hours, we've already heard that some of the hours may need to be adjusted to better serve the residents of Baltimore County. And that's exactly what we're looking for, making sure we get employees to places of work and moving people around Towson more easily. Having these additional transportation options also encourage future community growth, which promotes, in our opinion, economic development in and across Baltimore County. Next. We have taken the approach that we want to strengthen the overall transit service. We feel like sharing stops with MTA and Towson University encourages that effort by complementing the existing service. When you see the bus stops, you will notice most are shared existing stops. We also took the overall environmental sustainability goals into consideration. Expanded transit options are key to those goals, and we wanted to make sure we had a little discussion about that as well. We can go to the next one. Now, most of you probably saw the press conference that the county exec had. We are excited to share that this Towson Circulator pilot will be free. And again, it will be expected to arrive every 15 to 20 minutes at each bus stop. You can go to the next one. The feasibility study that I referenced earlier recommended proposed service hours for weekdays 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., Saturdays 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. However, it did not recommend service on Sunday. Again, your feedback is vitally important as it relates to these hours. Next. Now, we wanted to share with you the route concepts. We can screen in a little bit just to give you a little bit of background about the route concept. This route concept you will see, it goes up to your left to Kenilworth Drive and it makes a U. One of the things that we learned from the feasibility study is that the Kenilworth Drive area did not have as much transit service. So we thought it'd be vitally important to make sure that we hit that Kenilworth corridor so that residents can have ease of access to Trader Joe's and to the other amenities in that area. It'll curve and catch some apartments on that end as well. And then the route will come down around through Towson Town Center for connectivity purposes. Also, it's important to note that in the Towson Town Center area where the bus would arrive is a major transfer point for MTA bus routes. And then it goes down to the Towson Place area. In addition, the second part of the route covers the Fairmount Avenue area. It comes down and catches the courthouse and the government centers and then continues down the York Road area and catches our anchors down at the bottom, the hospital, St. Joe, Shepherd Pratt, and UBMC. We can share the bus stops. Here we have the bus stops listed. On our eastbound route, the way that you read these bus stops is the street lists exactly where the bus stop will be, but right next to it, the cross street and the landmark gives you an idea exactly where that bus stop will be located. The other note of importance here is that you see 3 bus stops are bolded on the eastbound side. Those bolded bus stops indicate that those will be new bus stops, not currently shared bus stops with MTA or Towson University. So on our eastbound route, we have 3 new proposed bus stops. On our westbound, you will see that we have 4 new proposed bus stops: East Pennsylvania, West Road, and 2 on Kenilworth. Again, there's not much traffic, not much transit in the Kenilworth corridor, so we wanted to make sure to get some additional routes and frequency up in the Kenilworth area as well. This shows you our eastbound and westbound, and our next bus stop shows you our northbound and southbound. On the northbound bus stops, you will see we have 1 recommended new bus stop that's bolded on York Road. That landmark will be near Stevenson's Lane. On our southbound, you will see that we have 4 recommended bus stops, new bus stops that are not shared. And that would be Fairmount Avenue, Campus View Drive, and Prince Road. Did I say 4? It's 3. Keep in mind, even though we're sharing these bus stops currently, it's a lot to take in quickly on this call. We will have this information on our website as well for you to provide feedback if you don't have any this evening. We can go to the next concept. Zooming in on Route B concept. Route B concept is a little different. It is a longer route, more miles attached to the Route B concept. Route B concept, again, catches that Kenilworth area because that was missing the frequency of transit that we would like to see in the Towson area. Then it comes down, it catches Towson Town Center. However, it does not go further down to Towson Place. The other thing that you will notice here is that it does not encompass the government campus with the courthouses and the government centers. However, it goes down York Road as the other one did, and it shares some bus stops with MTA. And it also does not catch St. Joe's. It goes around, and it has a terminus right on the Shepherd Pratt campus. And then it comes back around, and then it goes back up. We can show our bus stops now. Our northbound bus stops include several bus stops. As you can tell, again, this route is a much longer route, probably 2 miles longer than the previous route that you saw. On our northbound bus stops, we have 4 new bus stops that will be added that's indicated in the bold. Southerly Road, West Road, Kenilworth Drive, and Kenilworth Drive. And then, of course, on the southbound, we have 3, Kenilworth Drive, West Road, and Campus View Drive. This is a quick snapshot of route concepts A and B, as well as the bus stops, in which we would be looking for some feedback from the community. We can go to the next slide. Here you have the buses that we've made a purchase for. These are considered cutaway buses. They currently seat 25 with 2 wheelchairs in the front of the bus. So as you can see, it won't be a large 30-foot bus. It will be a cutaway bus because of the frequency of the buses and the places that the buses need to go. It won't be a large bus. All right, you can go to the next one. Some of the features of the bus. Our buses, we're excited to say, will have bus racks on the front of them. We will have security cameras on our buses. We are provided with wheelchair lifts so that we can have ADA compliance. We do have vinyl seats, and we will have GPS locator because we are looking at also having an app so that residents will know when the bus is due to arrive at your particular bus stop. We can go to the next one. Now, next steps as it relates to the pilot program. We are currently working on an RFP that we expect to release mid-December. That RFP will ask for vendors to submit proposals to do the operation and maintenance of the circulator service. We hope to award that contract spring of next year, with service being in effect the fall of 21. And that concludes our presentation. We will open it up for questions at this time. So please put your questions in the chat, and Mandy will share any questions that we have.
Thank you. We do have a couple questions coming in. Let me just pull them up here. So this was a question I know we kind of discussed on Tuesday's call. The question was, will the operators of the circulator be Baltimore County employees?
The operators, the drivers of the circulator, they'll be hiring drivers, mechanics, and supervisors. So they will be employees of the vendor. However, we are going to do some very targeted employment search for the Baltimore County region and outreach, so that we announce that we have jobs coming available and have job fairs and things like that when we get the vendor on board.
Perfect. We do have some specific questions coming into the Q&A about routes possibly being added, a bus stop over by the Department of Aging or by CODA, if I'm saying that correctly, Senior Center. This would be helpful for local seniors to travel there. And I guess I can let you answer those questions, but also just remind our attendees that you can always provide route suggestions to the email as well.
Right. So that is the type of feedback we are looking for from the community. Currently, the 2 routes that we have, route proposal A, goes around the government complex center. So I think it's 2 blocks out from Bicoda, the first concept A, 2 blocks out. So it does go down to that area, but it does not go right in front of Bicoda. But again, submit that information, and all of that is taken into consideration as we look to finalize these routes.
Correct. That's what's coming into the chat. Can proposed routes be adjusted? And again, that's something that you can put right into the email. Give us your feedback. That's something we're definitely looking for. I did receive another question. When will the routes actually be decided?
We hope to decide on the final routes by the end of December.
Wonderful. And let's see here. And there was a question that came in. Here we go. about COVID. Sorry, I was looking for the question. My apologies.
Mhm.
If COVID is still an issue, are there any adjustments that the county looks to make, or any changes or additions, or to make sure that it is safe and clean?
I failed to mention that in the presentation, and I mentioned it in the presentation on Tuesday, but we have taken COVID into consideration. You will see on our cutaways that when they hit the street, that they'll have shields, which is not something that was normal before COVID. So we have taken into consideration, and that's why we're going with the vinyl seats, because the vinyl seats are easier to clean, and we've put extra cleaning, deep cleaning requirements as a part of this contract with the vendor, taking into consideration COVID-19.
Wonderful. And then we do have some more coming into the chat. Will all questions and comments be shared in the document after these meetings? Like the PowerPoint, will we be able to share the PowerPoint for those that could not attend or give any input?
Yes, the PowerPoint will be posted on the website. I think we introduced the website earlier.
Yes, the
Did we just
website's in the
introduce
chat.
the email? Okay, we put it in the chat. So the presentation will be on the website.
Wonderful. How will road wear and tear be handled and financially funded with larger vehicles traveling?
Road wear and tear. I'm not sure. That
Like
question,
the
I'm not.
maintenance, will that
Of the
be
maintenance on the vehicles?
On the roads.
on the roads?
I answered that since these are just 25-foot buses, there shouldn't be additional wear and tear above normal use on the roads. And I mean, you could speak to that more, DeAndrea, since you're aware of the financial costs of those upkeep.
Right. We usually take those things into consideration when we use what we call the 30-foot Gillick type buses. Those are the larger buses that may have some effect on roadways. Cutaway buses shouldn't have any unnormal wear and tear on the roadways than a large dump truck.
Thank you. And this was just brought to our attention that there seems to be some overlap with the Towson University routes, and maybe have some routes that will benefit county residents since the students already have the shuttles through Towson University. Again, just another question that kind of came in, but all of this feedback is wonderful and something that we can definitely get directly by email too.
Yeah. And we are in conversations with MTA and Towson because we are sharing bus stops. We don't want to have bus bunching, and we want to have some sequence with the schedules of the buses so that they're not all arriving at the same time and things like that. So those conversations will pick up. They've started, but they will pick up more so when we finalize the route.
Wonderful. And I believe if there are any other questions, you can either type them into the chat or you can post them into the Q&A there so we can address them for DeAndrea.
So DeAndrea, Sharon asked, are the buses electric or hybrid? I hate to see a huge investment in fossil fuel vehicles. And so I noted that these will be gas, but that you could speak to why we chose these buses and how they are still contributing to our sustainability plan.
So why don't you talk about the sustainability part of it, and then we can go into our further considerations as it relates to future buses that we're going to purchase.
Yeah, so in terms of sustainability, we did choose a gasoline fuel vehicle, one just because of the size, but electric vehicles and other hybrid technologies that are emerging, we did explore. Unfortunately, they're very cost prohibitive in terms of setting up a pilot, especially for an area that does not have any other transit in place. So it would have been a substantial investment and taken a lot longer to launch. So it just wasn't truly feasible for the circulator for Towson at this juncture. But however, with public transit, these buses seat up to 25 people. So a full bus is taking between 15 and 20 vehicles off the road. And so that consolidation of fossil fuel consumption is improving the air quality and the sustainability goals that we have been tracking for the county. So it is still a fossil fuel vehicle, but transit is a sustainable option if folks are using it. So that's why we're excited to do this. We'll take vehicles out the road and decrease traffic and hopefully improve the CO2 levels in the county.
In addition, one of the things that has helped us with the costs of the circulator is that federal grant that we received. That federal grant has certain requirements, and that grant was for buses, but not specifically electric buses. When you place orders for electric buses, there's more infrastructure that's required with electric buses, as well as the time to build specs around electric buses. Towson has been waiting for a Towson circulator for quite some time now. So we got federal grant money to purchase these buses, and the cost of the electric buses were not a part of what we would be able to do to get it in time, on budget, with what we wanted to deliver within the next 12 to 18 months.
Thank you. And then we had some good questions coming in now. Can we name the circulator? And are there any, do you already have a name, or can our residents and constituents give some name options if that's something you're looking to do?
I'm excited that the residents and the constituents are excited about naming a circulator. I will say that our first part of delivering the circulator service, our first phase of this was preparing the RFP, purchasing the buses, and trying to get input from the community. Now we've heard more than once that the community wants to have input on naming the circulator and the colors of the circulator. So that is a topic of discussion come January. Our first part was to kind of get the buses ordered and get the information out to you all so that you all can give us some feedback on this vital part of it. Next part will be the naming and the colors of the circulator.
Thank you. And then I know you kind of addressed this question a little bit with the feasibility study, but a direct question was asked, was there any market research done to determine who is actually likely to ride the buses? And were the routes based on that? And then if not, what were they actually based on?
Yes, it was, they did do market analysis to see where the ridership will come from, who would probably be riding the circulator and things such as that. And that was all a part of the feasibility study. A portion of it was done in 2015, and then it was updated when I made reference earlier about the jobs increasing in the Towson area by 9% since 2015. That was a part of that market analysis and telling us where the people would be coming from to actually ride the circulator. So all of that was an in-depth part of the feasibility study that was done.
Wonderful, thank you.
I'm going to just jump in real quick here, Mandy. I noticed Councilman Marks is on the line. I just wanted to thank him for his support. I know the county executive is grateful for his support, the Towson area. We're also grateful for all the time and effort he's put into this and, rallying the council to support this as well.
We definitely thank you for your support, Councilman, and appreciate you being with us tonight and Tuesday. So we appreciate you being here for sure.
Another question came in, will the buses be cushioned? Will they have seat cushions? And that is a yes.
Well, they won't be as soft as we would have liked for them to be before COVID-19, because we did a balance of consideration with being able to deep clean and we'll be doing a lot more cleaning than we typically would do on a transit bus. So we had to take that in consideration. So it won't be cushion seats, but it will be a nice ride. That's part of riding on a cutaway versus a big 30-foot bus.
Thank you. And another question came in, will some of the bus stops be sheltered or covered? And will the bus stops be located in disability accessible areas near curb cuts? Great question.
Yes, so the bus stops that we're sharing with MTA, and those that are already covered, the new bus stops that we are talking about implemented, we need to see about the ridership and the boardings at those particular bus stops before we decide where we're going to have additional shelters, if we're going to have additional shelters. There's criteria that we use behind when we put a shelter out at a particular bus stop, and it is mainly determined by the number of boardings at that bus stop. So starting out, because it's a pilot, first year Baltimore County won't be installing shelters. However, we will be looking at the ridership over the first year, and if there is a threshold that meets a shelter for some of those new bus stops that we added, we will do that.
Wonderful.
And just to chime in, I do, I think, Deandra, you mentioned this earlier, the buses are wheelchair accessible. So accessibility is very important to us. And, we'll be looking for, like she said, the ridership and where those stops are needed and the curb cuts to make sure everyone, of all abilities can enjoy the circulator.
And that's vitally important to the county as well. Any new bus stops that we add will be ADA accessible. That is a requirement for us to put in a bus stop.
Thank you. Again, if you have any additional comments, please go ahead and put them in the chat so we can get them answered. And if you have any additional comments you think of after this presentation, feel free to, again, send an email and we will post that email in the chat again. One quick question, Deandra, that just came in. Will the feasibility study be available on the website as well? I know this presentation will, but will the study itself?
Yes, it's online right now. I'm going to drop
I was just about to say, I thought it.
I'm dropping a link now. We are still waiting to get the current study converted into a usable reader type for people with disabilities as well, but the regular PDF is online. So I'm going to drop that link in the chat right now.
Wonderful, thank you.
And I just want to add, when we talked about ADA, also on the buses, we mentioned that we have wheelchair accessible buses, but we are also looking at software for voice enunciation on the buses as well.
And will the buses have bike racks? That just came in.
Yes, we're excited they will.
Wonderful. And at this time, someone did pose a question that they do not see any actual stops by the county buildings.
That would be on route concept A. There is a shared stop right in front of the county building that we'll share with MTA and Rapid Transportation if we go with route concept A, proposal A. That's one, and then there's also one a little bit further up, but yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, I think if Jasmine, if you're seeing any more that are coming in that I missed or that I have not popped up on or populated on my screen yet, but Deandra, I at this time do not see any additional comments here.
Okay.
We've gotten some great feedback for, thank you. This is definitely needed, very informative. So a lot of thanks, and people are very excited.
And this is Jasmine. I just wanted to make a pitch because, like she said, we've gotten a ton of great feedback, and I'm so happy everyone was able to join in. I'm capturing most of it for our notes, well, all of it. But I would love to encourage everyone to email the Towson Circulator pilot, especially once you look at the routes from the PDF online and everything, and maybe noodle on it. And let us know what stops are missing that you think, and your opinions about the route hours, so that way they're properly captured, and everything you think of will be addressed. Oh, Alicia has a great question. What's the funding source for bus operations?
So currently we have funding in our FY21 budget, some operational dollars that the county executive committed. He is also committing dollars to our FY22. We have put in grant applications to the state and to the federal government, and we are also working out agreements with our anchor institutions. So it all has not been finalized, but it's all in discussions.
And Alicia's got all the great questions. Are you collecting advertisement revenues?
We do have a plan to do advertisement, but advertising marketing is what I'm considering the second phase of planning for the circulator, and we won't start that phase until January. Those discussions around that part until January.
I'll chime in. We're not going to leave any stone unturned when it comes to finding funding. Like DeAndre said, there's things that we're looking at federally. Obviously, there's private partners. So the onus hopefully will not be on the county itself to make sure everything's covered.
Got any more questions there, Mandy?
No, I'm just checking. It looks like we are all good. We are all good on our end.
So before we close out, and I know the ladies have included the website and the email address in the chat. I just encourage you all to do that. But I would be remiss if I did not thank the transportation team with Jesse and Sam and Mandy and Jasmine and Amanda for helping with this heavy lift of a project. We really do appreciate it. It's not a one-person team. It's a whole team that's working on behalf of transportation in Baltimore County. So we have a great team in place, and I thank you all. And I would be remiss if I did not ask to turn it over to Elizabeth, who has led this effort and kept us straight, and ask her to please give some comments before we close out this project.
Thank you, DeAndrea. I appreciate that. I was initially sort of a one-person operation, and over the last 2 years, DeAndrea, Sam, Jasmine, Amanda, Mandy, all the folks you've heard from, I hope I didn't miss anyone, have joined the team, standing up a full transportation function within the Department of Public Works, which is led by DeAndrea and supported as a planner by Sam Sneed. And this is really our first major project. We're so excited to support this longtime vision for a Towson circulator, and hope it will be a pilot for Towson, but also a model for similar transit opportunities in communities around the county. Oh, Jesse, I forgot you. There's so many folks that have been part of this, and we're just so glad to be presenting it to the community, and look forward to literally rolling it out in 2021. So thanks, everybody.
And last but not least, we thank Brian Laverty for his assistance with the feasibility study, Mead and Hunt. They did a fabulous job on the feasibility study for us, and we appreciate you being right there by our side, doing the in-depth research with this project, and we thank you for your dedication to the Towson Circulator. So thank you as well. And Amanda, I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, thank you all for attending. As Elizabeth and DeAndrea said, we are just super grateful that you took the time out to check it out, and please add your comments in, send us emails. We'll be checking that, and we'll have more meetings to come. So stay tuned, please. And have a good night.
Thank you all.